Alright, how's it going everyone? So today's video is going to be another pose practice, and this time I took a reference pose and then I drew it in a different perspective. That's kind of something that I've been practicing recently. And before we get into that, don't forget, if you'd like to support the channel, you can do so on Patreon or YouTube members. Both are linked in the description, and we also have a Discord server, so if you're interested in that, be sure to check it out. And also, this video is sponsored by XPPen. They sent me their newest AP19 tablet for review purposes, so I'm gonna be unboxing it and then telling you guys what I think about it. Alright, so this is the Artist Pro 19 Generation 2 provided to me by XPPen. It's a 4K tablet with apparently 16K levels of pressure sensitivity, so that's going to be interesting to test out. And this is actually the second time that I'm doing the unboxing because the first recording didn't turn out right, so repackaged everything, and we're going to do it again. But keep in mind that everything's not packaged as cleanly as it was originally. So here we have the tablet. This thing is pretty big, but I guess we'll keep this for the end and take a look at all of the other stuff first. So it comes with a color calibration factory report. I'm not a color engineer, so I don't really know what any of this stuff means, but have a look at it. So first, this tablet comes with a one-handed keyboard, which is actually something that XPPen sells separately on their website, but this one comes with it. It's actually pretty cool. I'm not sure if I'm going to be using it because I'm already very used to having a regular keyboard, but this thing has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 buttons, as well as this scroll wheel, which has a bunch of notches on it, if you can hear it. So I'm pretty sure you can bind multiple keys to this wheel, and that's going to be pretty interesting to test out. USB cable for it. So now here we have the actual cables from the tablet. Now up next we have some interesting stuff like the artist glove, as well as some other stuff like a microfiber cloth and some different types of nibs. So these black ones are the regular plastic ones, I'm pretty sure, and then these gray ones are felt nibs, I think. So these felt nibs, if you've never tried them out, they're supposed to be a bit rougher than the normal ones, which is supposed to make it feel more like you're drawing on paper, but from my experience, these things get dull incredibly quickly, and when they get dull, they become really hard to work with. So inside of here, we have a bunch of different adapters for the electrical outlets. So we have the power brick, which connects with a USB-C, and then here are all the different adapters. You know, I'm not an electrician, so I'm not sure which parts of the world all of these are used in, but if you use any of these, there you go. We have the actual pens, or the styli, I should say. So this tablet comes with two different styli. First, we have the X3 Pro Roller Stylus, and the cool thing about this is that it has a scroll wheel on the end of it. I've actually never seen that on a stylus before, so it's going to be very interesting to test that out. And then next up, their Slim Stylus, which is just a thinner pen than the other one. This, it has a similar width to a regular pencil. It's a bit wider, but again, that's going to be very interesting to test out. I don't think it'll make that big of a difference if you're, you know, already used to digital equipment, but it's pretty cool. By the way, both of those pens are separately available for purchase on their website, so if you're interested in trying them out, you could, but you do have to make sure that your tablet is actually compatible with them. And then we also have a bunch of extra nibs inside of it, like the felt nibs right there. This, I'm not sure what that's for, actually. And then lastly, we have the tablet itself. So it's pretty big, 19 inches across. It's also kind of heavy, which is to be expected. Up here we have two USB-C ports, so I'm pretty sure you can just use whichever one you want. You don't have to use both. Then power button, I think these are for the brightness. Then here in the back we've got 4 points that you can use as mounting points. We got some rubber tips at the end, and then also the two wings, which serve as the stand, except I don't think they can go any higher than this, which is kind of unfortunate. But I don't think it'll be that big of an issue. But that does it for the unboxing, so let's get into the actual testing. So I guess I'll talk a bit about the drawing first, and then I'll give my opinion about the tablet. For this drawing, I actually set up the perspective first. If you haven't studied perspective yet, this may seem a little complicated, but essentially what I did is place the horizon line, and then I put two vanishing points on it, one is right here on the left on screen, and then the other one is on the right all the way off screen. The horizon line is really high up, meaning this is going to be a high angle view, and that also means that there's going to be a vanishing point really low below the screen, so I'm drawing those vertical lines. And then once the grid is set up, essentially all you have to do is think about which parts of the body are going to be converging to the vanishing points that you've selected. In this case, I think her shoulders are converging to that right vanishing point, as well as her hips somewhat, because they are kind of tilted. The right hip is going up, the left hip is going down. But that's basically all perspective drawing is. Just think about where your parallel lines are and then have those converge to a vanishing point. So now for the tablet, it's been 3 days since the unboxing and I've used it for around 30 hours at this point. And my first impressions are that it's pretty good. I'm actually really happy with everything I've experienced so far, but I think I'll go over the negatives first and then I'll cover the positives. One thing that's been bothering me is the stand. I think it's just a little bit too low, and it's not that big of a deal because I'm pretty sure I'll get used to it eventually, but it's nice to have options for that stand height. And unfortunately, XPPen does sell stands separately, but I don't think they have any stands for 19-inch tablets. I hope they'll make something like that in the future, but like I said, it's not that big of a deal, and the wings themselves are actually really sturdy. Like, you can actually push down on it and not be scared of it breaking. Another thing would be the heat. This tablet gets hot towards the top, and it actually gets pretty hot, but if you're wearing the glove, you honestly don't feel it. Other than that, I don't really have any big issues with it. I think it's pretty amazing. So as for the peripherals, the small one-handed keyboard that came with it, I used it for a little bit, but I'm not a big fan of it because I feel like it's just a little bit too small if you're used to using a regular keyboard for your shortcuts. And my hands aren't exactly big, so that thing being too small is already kind of a statement. It's good for portability, I guess, and it's nice that they give it to you just so you have options, and you might end up liking it. Who knows? Then let's talk about the styluses next. So first, the one with the scroll wheel. You can map the scroll wheel to do whatever you want in your drawing software, like zoom in, change brush size. But to be honest, I don't use it for that because I think the scroll wheel is just a little bit too small to make any big changes, and every single drawing program has other shortcuts for zooming in as well as changing brush size. Like with Clip Studio, I think Control Space is the zoom in one, and it's way faster than what you can do with the scroll wheel. So the scroll wheel is kind of redundant for those actions. But for video editing, I think it's actually pretty good because I edit videos on my tablet and it's nice to be able to zoom in using the scroll wheel on my stylus, and also for just browsing the internet. If you want to use the stylus for that, it's pretty good. Now, the one that impressed me and the one I'm using in the video, that's the slim stylus, and this thing is kind of a game changer. I didn't think it was going to make that big of a difference, but it does. It's super light, meaning you can control it just like you would a normal pencil. You can move it much faster than a regular stylus because of its lightweight, and you can also hold it all the way in the back and then make some big strokes using just your wrist. I wish it was just a little bit longer, maybe like 1 inch longer, and that would have made it perfect. Another thing about these styli, and I'm not sure if this is a stylus thing or if it's a tablet thing, but they are accurate. When I say you can draw toes with pinpoint accuracy when you're completely zoomed out, I mean it. An issue I had with my previous tablet is that whenever I was zoomed out, it became a lot less accurate, and for these videos that's kind of an issue because I have to be zoomed out to make the video look better. Anyway, if you have an XPPen tablet and it supports that X3 Pro Slim stylus, just get it, this thing is a game changer. Another thing is that they have those 16,000 levels of pressure sensitivity, and to be honest, I don't really notice the difference, or more like, I don't feel the difference actively. I'm sure there is a difference, and if I was using an 8K and 16K pressure sensitivity tablets side by side, I'm sure I could tell the difference, but because you're just using it, you don't really feel any difference with it. It hasn't really changed the way I draw my lines, so it's nice to have, but if it wasn't here, I wouldn't be like, man, I wish this had 16K levels of pressure sensitivity. Now, about the tablet itself, it has a 4K screen, of course, and with 4K, you definitely notice the difference. The canvas size that I work with is a little bit over 4K resolution, so having a tablet that actually has that 4K resolution built in means that I can see what I'm drawing much more clearly. You could say it's the same as the 16K levels of pressure sensitivity, where it's nice to have, but it's not really necessary. But the tablet is $800, so it's not exactly for the average person. It's only for the people really interested in this sort of stuff. And for those people, that 4K resolution is fantastic. And then the color, that's the one thing that XPPen has been marketing a lot with this tablet. And unfortunately, I'm not a painter. You know, I know the basics about painting, but I'm not that big into coloring, so color is not really that big of a deal to me. But the colors on this tablet are extremely clear. If you look at the color wheel in Photoshop or Clip Studio Paint, for example, if you select a color and then you slightly change the value or saturation on it, you can very clearly tell that there's a difference between the previous color and the new color that you have now. You'll be amazed at how clearly you can spot even slight variations in colors using this screen. But that's pretty much what I think about it. Although at the end of the day, the tablet you're using is not particularly important. What's even more important are your actual art skills, because a good artist can make good art using whatever tablet they have at their disposal. But if you are looking to invest in a high-end tablet and you've done your research and this one has caught your attention, then I don't think this is a bad option. And there we have the final artwork. You know, composition-wise, it could have been better, but again, the exercise was just to draw those poses from this angle, and I think that went pretty well. Once again, if you'd like to support the channel, you can do so through the Patreon or YouTube memberships link in the description. There's a Discord server for you to join if you want, and thanks to XPPen for sponsoring the video. But that's it for me, so hopefully you guys enjoyed that, and I guess I'll catch you all next time.